So if you missed it, for 2026, I added 50 book titles into a TBR jar. Oh, it's like right there, you can't really see it, but anyways, I put 50 book titles into a TBR jar, and that is basically all of the books that I will prioritize to read in 2026. And I think about a couple weeks ago, I decided to add all of the 50 books into Goodreads, into its own bookshelves, just to see what are some of the highest ranked books and also some of the lowest ranked books from the 50 books that I decided to read for 2026. Last time I talked about all of the books that are in the top 10 of this chart, I guess, and in today's video I'm gonna talk about all of the books in the bottom 10, I guess. So without further ado, let's get started. Actually, before I pick up the books, I have the 10 books in front of me. I just want to say that the lowest rated book, the average rating is 3.29, which honestly is not too bad, and the highest one, like the top number one, is 4.57. I'm gonna go with number 41 and then we'll see which book is on the bottom, like number 50. In number 41 in this made-up chart of all of the books that I'm planning to read in 2026 is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This one, the average rating is 3.68 based on 120,561 ratings, which honestly is still pretty decent in my opinion. I think I'm gonna enjoy this book so much because the main characters are from a Chinese Indonesian family, which is what I am. I am Chinese Indonesian. One of them is her mom and the other three are her aunties, and I think this family has a wedding planning business. And in this first book, Madeline, who is the main character, ends up accidentally killing her blind date. A dead body proves to be a lot more challenging to dispose than one might anticipate, especially when it is inadvertently shipped in a cake cooler to the over-the-top billionaire wedding that Maddie, her mom, and her aunties are working at an island resort on the California coastline. It is the biggest job yet for the family wedding business, and nothing, not even an unsavory corpse, will get in the way of her auntie's perfect buttercream flowers. But things go from inconvenient to downright torturous when Maddie's great college love and biggest heartbreak makes a surprise appearance amid the wedding chaos. Is it possible to escape murder charges, charm her ex back into her life, and pull off a stunning wedding all in one weekend? I think it's gonna be a great book for me. I'm not really sure what this book would be classified as. I think it's mystery, maybe, but I feel like it's gonna be a funny book as well. There are two other books in this book series. It is kind of giving me Finley Donovan is Killing It vibe for me, so I cannot wait to read it. So moving on to number 42 in this made-up chart, I guess, it's Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. This is actually in my March TBR. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up. I tried to read like the first, I don't know, 10 pages of the book. It was just kind of like and I think it's because I associate so much the characters that I am reading to the movie, and I don't know, I feel like the movie is kind of cringy. Anyways, this one, the average rating is 3.68 with 7.3 million ratings. I feel like it should be switched because this one has way more readers than Dial A for Aunties. I think it's because this one has been out for a long time. I think it just had its 20th or 25th anniversary, I don't remember. But anyways, I have not read this book series yet. My sister, who is not a reader, actually read the book series first before the movies came out, and she told me that the books are way better than the movies. But I cannot separate the characters that I know from the movies from the book, but hopefully I will be able to do it because I really want to read this saga because it's a popular one. Everyone has read it when they were like younger, and I feel like I felt left out because I didn't read this when I was a teenager. So hopefully this year I will be able to read at least the first book. So the next one, I think number 43 in my chart, is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This one has an average rating of 3.64 based on 272,465 ratings. I actually just finished this book, I think a few days ago, and I just wanted to read this book series because everybody loved this book series, and there's like literally a cult following of this book series. A couple of the YouTubers that I watch have special editions of this book series, have the indie version of the books. They kind of collect even translated version of this book. So honestly, I just am curious on why people love this book series so much. And since finishing the first one, I kind of get it why people love this book. It is actually a pretty easy read, and when I'm reading this book, I'm picturing kind of like Gossip Girl episodes. I don't really watch Gossip Girl. I don't think I actually finished the first season, but it's just kind of taking you back to current timeline, going back to like when they were a little kid, when they were in the private boarding school, and how they got to be like London socialite and stuff like that. So it was pretty interesting, and the way that the writing takes us back and forth, it's not as jarring as I thought it would be, and I definitely would love to continue on with this book series because I think they are interesting. This one is gonna be number, I think, 44, and that is Swept Away by Beth O'Leary. This one has an average rating of 3.59 based on 30,167 ratings. I also picked this up technically for my February TBR. I think I started reading the first, I want to say a couple of chapters, maybe up to page 30 or something. And I don't know why, I wasn't really in the mood to continue reading. Hopefully I will be able to pick up the book again maybe in the summer or something. But basically this is about Zeke and Alexi, who just had a one-night stand, and they know that they're not gonna be seeing each other again. But I think after they did their activity, I think they fell asleep at Zeke's late dad's houseboat. And then I think in the morning, when both of them woke up, they realized that they're not in the marina anymore. I think somebody forgot to like latch the houseboat overnight, and they were kind of in the middle of the ocean. So I guess they're trying to figure out how to get back to land, and it's kind of like awkward because their initial interaction was just for one night, and now they are kind of stuck together in the middle of the ocean. It has a very interesting premise, and I think when I'm in the mood for it, I will be able to finish reading this book and let you know what I thought about it. This is gonna be number 45 in my chart, and it is Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. This one has an average rating of 3.55 based on 146,110 ratings. I recently read this book in February, I believe, and I did enjoy the book. It's because the characters are basically related to the entertainment industry. The guy is an actor in Hollywood, and she is a journalist who kind of like specializes in interviewing celebrities. This kind of reminds me of Catherine Santer's The Bodyguard and the rom-comers, and I think that's why I like this book a lot actually. This one also has dual timeline, one from current and one from 10 years ago. They basically spent a weekend together. There's things that happen between the two of them. There's no way that they do fall in love over just a span of a weekend, because there's not really much declaration of love or anything like that between the two of them. And I guess this interview that she did with him 10 years ago kind of jump-started her career, and that is what she's known for. Even after a decade since the first article was published, people still ask if she will be up for interviewing him again and doing kind of like a follow-up article, which is what they are going to do in the current timeline. This one is going to be book number 46, I believe, in my 50 books of 2026 that I plan to read, and it is The Husbands. This one has an average rating of 3.52 based on 139,298 ratings. This one is about a woman who entered her flat, and for some reason there's like someone that is coming down from her attic, and it was actually her husband. Even though in real life she knows that she's still single, not really dating anyone, and certainly not married. But as this husband came down from her attic, she also noticed that the pictures in the frames around her house have both of their pictures, even the photos on her phone. And when she talked to like, I think her family, maybe her mom or her sister or one of her friends, they know that she has been married to this guy. After the initial shock, she sent back the husband up the attic, and then when someone else is coming down, it's a completely different husband. So I'm not really sure how many husbands there will be in this book, but it just kind of piqued my interest, and it was really like an interesting premise. I did start reading this book, I think the first 40-ish pages, and I decided to put it down. I definitely will try to pick it up again. I feel like I was just not really in the mood to read this book, but hopefully sometime soon, because honestly I'm curious how many like husbands she actually have, because in the cover there's a bunch of them. There's at least 13 or 14 that I could kind of count. There's like some people in the back also that I'm not really sure if that's like someone else's feet or something. But if you have read this one, let me know in the comment below what you think about it. It is also a pretty thin book, so I feel like if I am in the mood for this book, I think I can finish it pretty quickly. This one is gonna be number 47 on my list, and it is Good Fortune by C.K. Chow, I think. This one has an average rating of 3.43 based on 1,668 ratings. I feel like this one is not really known as much as some of the other books that I have talked about. I actually came across this book at Dollar Tree for $1.25, and I decided to pick it up because honestly it is kind of interesting. It has obviously Asian American FMC, and it's also written by an Asian American author, I believe. Yes, she lives in New York. This one is about Elizabeth. When Elizabeth's ever-hustling realtor mom finally sells the beloved if derelict community center down the block, the new owners don't look like typical New York City buyers. Brandon Lee and Darcy Wong are good Chinese boys with Hong Kong money. Clean-cut and charismatic, they say they are committed to cleaning up the neighborhood. To Elizabeth, that only means one thing. Darcy is looking to give the center an uptown makeover. Elizabeth is determined to fight for community over profit, even if it means confronting the arrogant, uptight man every chance she gets. But where clever, cynical Elizabeth sees lemons, her mother sees lemonade. Eager to get Elizabeth and her other 4 daughters ahead in the world and out of their cramped family apartment, Mrs. Chan takes every opportunity to keep her investors close, closer than Elizabeth likes. The more time they spend together, the more conflicted Elizabeth feels, until a shocking betrayal forces her to reconsider everything she thought she knew about love, trust, and the kind of person Darcy Wong really is. I feel like it's one of those things where the mom is becoming a matchmaker, which I feel like it's just a fun thing that people like to write about, and I feel like it's pretty prominent even like in Asian Americans like family, because I know a couple people who kind of like matchmake by their parents and ended up getting married anyway. So I cannot wait to read this book. Hopefully I'll be able to pick it up this year. It is in my 2026 TBR list, and honestly it's still pretty interesting to me. This one is gonna be number 48, and it is This Is Not a Game by Kelly Mullen. I think that's how you say her last name. This one has an average rating of 3.42 based on 5,146 ratings. I think I made a 5-star prediction video not too long ago, and this book I have added to that list. I feel like because I don't really read a lot of murder mystery books, anything that happened in this type of book will shock me and surprise me, and it will make me like the book better. So I feel like this will be one of those like type of books. This one is about a grandma and granddaughter duo who was invited to this dinner at this like really big mansion, and in the middle of dinner the hostess was murdered, and both of them are trying to figure out who the murderer was so they can't get, you know, any more people within this like dinner party. I'm excited to read this book. Hopefully I will be able to pick this up this year. I actually won this on a, I believe, Goodreads or Instagram giveaway, and I would definitely love to read it and review it this year. So this book is gonna be number 49 on the list, and it is To the Moon and Back by Eliana Ramage. I forgot how to say her last name, but I know that she made a video on Instagram and she like said her full name, but I don't remember it. Anyways, this one has an average rating of 3.41 based on 9,381 ratings. This one is about, I think, a Native American woman who is aspired to be an astronaut, I think. She is a Cherokee Nation citizen. Her name is Steph. She was 5 when her mother fled an abusive husband, with Steph and her younger sister in tow. The story spanned 3 decades and several continents. It kind of encompasses Steph's turbulent journey along with the multifaceted and intertwined lives of the 3 women closest to her. Her sister, Kayla, who's an artist, Steph's college girlfriend, Della, and also her mom, Hannah, who has held up her family's tribal history as a beacon of inspiration to her children, all the while keeping her own past a secret. So I cannot wait to read this. I feel like this is similar to Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like, not the characters, but I think the setting. I'm not really sure what was like the year or the time that this was set. I know Atmosphere was set in the 60s or 70s. Kind of like similar setting where a woman is aspired to be an astronaut. So I cannot wait to hopefully read this year as well. So in number 50, the lowest rated book in my 2026 TBR is Superhost by Kate Russo. I think that is how you say the author's last name. This one has an average rating of 3.29 based on 4,041 ratings. And to be honest with you, this one I found, I think, at Dollar General for $5, and I decided to pick it up because I heard about it maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and I added it to like my Libby TBR list that I want to borrow. But when I saw it for $5, I decided to pick it up because that is actually a pretty good price for a hardcover book. I feel like this one is gonna give me sort of like Frederick Backman, Kevin Wilson type of vibe. This one is about Bennett, who is 55. His wife has left him and he hasn't sold a painting in 2 years. And his gallery wants to stop selling his work, claiming that the paintings will have more value when he is dead, basically. So, living in a big West London home and no income, he is forced to move into the studio that he has in the back garden and list his house on the popular vacation rental site Airbed. He lives by himself because I think his daughter is off at art school. He struggles to find a purpose in his day-to-day. That all changes when 3 different guests, lonely American Alicia, tortured artist Emma, and cautiously optimistic divorcee Kirsty unwittingly unlock the pieces of himself that have been lost to him for too long. So I think those 3 people are like renting his house or something for a vacation, and things will unfold from there. I feel like it has a pretty interesting premise. It definitely piqued my interest, and hopefully I'll be able to pick this book up this year. Those are all of the books with the lowest average rating according to Goodreads, number 42 to 50. And if you miss number 1 to 10, I will leave the link to the video down below because that will go up first, I believe. And this exercise has been pretty fun. I think I have a list of all of the romance book series that I have, like the first book in the series, and I think I might do sort of like this type of video where I look through the top 10 books and maybe like the bottom 10 or something. I think that would be fun.